So I'm going to kind of give you a little visual because a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? So think about if your body, if all of your limbs, your shoulders, arms, neck, pelvis, hips, legs are all working well, you're balanced, right? You've got this little, think of this little thing here, you're centered. Everything's happy. Everything is moving well. Well, what happens if you get injured? Say you injure your left shoulder. Now I know mirror image, that might be your right, but for me, it's my left. And so what happens is this is going to focus toward that shoulder. It's going to want to really come up here and pay attention to that shoulder because there's a problem. And so now I treat this shoulder. I heat it, I ice it, I exercise it, I stretch it. This is going to stay focused here. It's not going to go back to balance by doing that, right? But if I treat one of my shoulders opposites, and I say one of my shoulders opposites because all of your major body parts have 3 opposites. If I divide my body right and left, the opposite of my left shoulder is my right shoulder. So say I start doing some work on my right shoulder, what happens? This is going to start to pay attention to where I'm doing work, right? Say you divide your body into top and bottom halves. The opposite of my left shoulder is my left hip. So now this is going to start moving down toward that left hip because that's where the focus is, right? Say I divide my body in diagonal. The opposite of my left shoulder is my right hip. Say I start working my right hip. Guess what happens? That starts paying attention to what's being worked, what's being focused on. And look what just happened. I'm centered again, right? By working my opposites. And if you want a really simple visual, say you're putting a sheet on a bed and you're trying to straighten it out, you always tug on the opposite corner to straighten it out, right? So this is what you're doing with your body. You're kind of tugging on opposite corners to straighten it out. That's probably the simplest way. And I think that's the first time I've ever said that. It's probably the simplest way to explain this. And I've taught TMR